Hello, everyone, and welcome to Earth X. Going into this video, I decided to just do my Peacemaker review weekly live because there is so much I want to get into. This will be a full spoiler conversation. If you haven't seen episode 6, I think it's called Ignorance is Chris. Make sure to go watch it before we get into this. So, yeah, normally I just do these the next day, but there's a lot to talk about. So, we had already known that going into episode 6 of Peacemaker, there was going to be something very interesting revealed. There's a lot of theories that were proven pretty much correct. But James Gunn had teased that episode 6, 7, and 8 are just going to be like setting up the future of the DCU, as well as just completely changing the tone of the show. So, if you haven't seen the episode, once again, this is your last warning. All right, we're gonna get into it. So we left off with Peacemaker Chris after killing his own self from Earth 2. He had gone and just decided to go over there. He left the door behind so that Emilia and everybody else could kind of maybe try to get their life back together. So there are two big stories here, right? We have the 11th Street kids going over to the other Earth. They go to Vigilante's house. They set up the door there. We get to meet Vigilante's mom. We also get to see what Vigilante does with all the stuff that he takes from drug bust and all the stuff, all this vigilante activity. Uh, I think Adrian Chase is such a fun character in the show, and you get twice as much of that in this one. So we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, ultimately they set up the door in like his secret hideout basement, whatever base, and they go to the other Earth. Now, there's a lot of theories out there that there was a reason that we don't see a lot of people of color in this other Earth, and Emilia, she kind of clocks that right away as she kind of gets into it. Right, they go. Peacemaker brother Keith shows up. Emilia, obviously, he knows her because she exists in this other universe. Uh, and she kind of talks his way into like going with Keith to Argus, which then as on the drive there. First of all, I like that James Gunn has a different lineup for the Beatles that includes Mick Jagger instead of John Lennon. That's really funny. But she starts clocking that there's something off about this Earth. Um, so as we get there, like obviously because of all the clues that we've been seeing, the viewer already kind of knows, and there's a lot of theories that were out there. So in the meanwhile, Adebayo and Adebayo and Economist stay behind at the house. Vigilante goes to look for the other version of Vigilante. He does find it. His house. He's delivering such a fun performance. But he finally suits up, and then Vigilante finds Vigilante from Earth 2, and they realize that they are pretty much the same, like right down to everything except for the fact that in this other Earth, Vigilante is not friends with Peacemaker. As a matter of fact, that's his arch nemesis. That's another clue that there's something off. Vigilante from our regular Earth learns about the Sons of Liberty, which we saw Peacemaker stop them from, blowing up the DMV or whatever they were doing. Um, Before we get into all the other nitty gritty stuff, let me talk about the big cameo for this episode. This is probably the big spoiler here. We get to see the one and only Lex Luthor. That's right, this
Wrap
Lex
it up.
Luthor. We're not gonna wrap it up just yet, Lex, but we get to see Nicholas Holt. Rick Flag Sr. is running out of options to find what's going on. So he decides to go to Argus or to Belle Reve, where they're holding Lex with all the other metahumans, and they cut a deal together. And I think this deal is going to be a big part of whatever James Gunn is setting up for his Man of Steel movie. But eventually, we know that Lex Luthor is going to help. And this is only it was only one scene. You can tell that they probably shot it in one location because obviously Lex Luthor, he's in jail. He's walking with a cane because Crypto like beat him up, right? Um, so that's really interesting. But that's the big cameo, or at least one of the big cameos. We still don't know if there's other stuff out there. We know that we've seen some pictures of John Cena and David Cornsway both in their suits. So maybe there's a little bit more there. But back to, so that's really kind of the other side of the story. Rick Flag Sr. is getting ready and making a deal with the devil, almost literally, to try to find Peacemaker and this other portal. So we'll see what that how that plays out probably in the future, in the next couple of episodes. Back to Earth 2 or Earth X, if you want to call it that. Um, we see that Emilia goes to Argus with Keith, because when they set up the door, um, there was a vigilante keeps a bunch of drugs and evidence and stuff in that house. When the door blows up, to when it's being set up, that portal's being set up, all of them were covered in drugs. So that sets off some alarms at Argus. They hold Emilia for that. Peacemaker eventually shows up, leaving Emilia from Earth 2 behind. And then finally, we have the heart to heart that we've been waiting for from John Cena, and Jennifer Holland. They finally talk, and man, they deliver really good performances. This episode was both written and directed by James Gunn, so we know that he's a lot more involved in the second part of this season because he was done filming Superman and all that. So you can really tell, it really feels like a James Gunn thing. But yeah, Jennifer Holland, just very emotional performance. John Cena as well, Peacemaker, like he really has made this role his own. So very interesting stuff. As they're walking out though, and they finally kind of clear everything up, we Amelia tells him like, don't you think that it's a little weird that there are no people of color anywhere around? In the meanwhile, we see that Economos and Adebayo are still at Peacemaker's house or his dad's house, and Adebayo goes for a walk, and she's walking around this neighborhood. Some lady drives by her in a van, and she gives her like the weirdest look, like really like she doesn't belong there. Now, this is already starting to raise all flags, right? And then eventually, Keith also drives in his truck because he's going back home. He also sees Adebayo, and he yells, "One of them got out." So, whatever they've done in this other Earth, they have all the people of color probably like contained in some place. I don't know. They didn't go into it. All we know is that everyone in that neighborhood started chasing Adebayo, and it was, man, it was the weirdest thing that you could see in a show like this. But it really worked because it really, in that same moment, it is revealed that the United States flag is not the United States flag that you know. It actually, it gives you all the clues that you need that to know that this is this is an Earth where the bad guys won. So yeah, it's really crazy to see that Chris hadn't really picked up on any of that, but finally you know he gets to see the flag and his eyes just kind of like, oh shit, right? Which goes back to the title of the episode, ignorance, or ignorance is Chris. You know, a play on ignorance is bliss. So man, what a crazy episode. So the episode kind of ends there. We get to see in the preview that there's gonna be a lot more happening. But yeah, so I think after this episode, it was made clear that this would be the game changer for the show. Now, in the comics, Earth X is one that was overrun by the Nazis, and now that's kind of what they're bringing to life, right? They taught they did a covered a little bit on this on the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earth X, and then also Dungeons of Tomorrow. So like they visited this theme and this idea of this Earth X, that has an alternate history a few times already, but each iteration's been a little bit different. So that explains why, first of all, why there's no people of color around, but also why in this iteration of Earth, Augie, Peacemaker's dad, is a well beloved hero, right? You saw in the cover for this video that there's a picture, like the episode starts with some kids asking the top trio to take a picture with them. So, yeah, it is wild stuff. I don't know what's gonna happen from here going on. The next thing I'm gonna do right after I finish this video with you guys, and I'll look at the comments in 1 second. Yeah, Derpy Entertainment in the chat. I freaking knew it. Yeah, that was. I mean, the writing was on the wall for that one. I think the big surprise on this one was not only the confirmation of our theory, but also the appearance of Lex. Right. So really interesting stuff. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. There's only 2 episodes left of the season. Really, really great stuff. Go check out our other reviews. We'll probably do a full in-depth Peacemaker season 2 video or something like that at the end when everything's all out. I know some people are just kind of waiting, so hopefully you come back and watch some of these videos. But let me know, what did you think of Peacemaker season 2, episode 6? Ignorance is Chris. What are some of your favorite performances? What are your theories for the last 2 episodes? Like, will Superman show up? Will there be another cameo? There is one thing that we still don't know. Rick Flag Sr. Has contacted another prisoner, and we don't get to see who they are, but we do know that he's let out another prisoner that's gonna probably help him with this stuff. After he visited Lex, there's somebody else that he's gonna. I'm thinking maybe somebody from the Creature Commandos could show up. I think that'd be interesting, but I don't know which character would be the one. But Rick Flag Sr. does have a relationship with them, because if you don't watch Creature Commandos, Rick Flag Sr. was kind of in charge of that group as well. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could still be on its way. Really, really interesting. So let me know what you think Superman will show up on this. Also, stay tuned. We have a lot more videos. We have a video coming out about Marvel Zombies later on this week. We also have our new weekly show, What You Should Be Watching, with a show that it has wrapped up this week. So finally can recommend it to people to check it out this weekend. And then on our next live, we will be talking about The Naked Gun, the 2025 film. And then also we'll talk about some of the other ones. We'll talk about comedies back in the theater. So really, really interesting stuff. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. All right, Lex, let's hit it again.
Wrap it up.
You got it, boss. We're out of here. Bye-bye, everyone.